Water resource management requires people coming together and across different sectors. So whether it is the private sector, whether it is the academia, whether it is the community, whether it is the government, whether it is development partners, whether it is civil society organizations, we all need to come together for purposes of addressing the water risks. Water stewardship, it's really people taking responsibility, and importantly, the private sector taking responsibility within the establishment, within their facilities, and also in the surrounding environment.
So Lake Naivasha landscape faces a lot of water-related risks and challenges, and some among them include catchment destruction, which comes in form of deforestation, encroachment into riparian land. All these contribute to have a detrimental impact on water quality and quantity. We are also experiencing growing population into the area. Of course, all this comes with both positive and negative impact to the resource. Other contributing factors include illegal or over-abstraction. We also have challenges in regards to pollution. So cases where maybe industries or people release untreated or partially treated effluent into our waterways, and all these contaminate the waters, both in the rivers and streams and even the lake. So the program has come in really handy to try and tackle the root causes of these threats within the landscape. The program has 4 major objectives that are looking towards addressing the challenges. One is around empowering communities to be able to take lead in monitoring and taking care of the environment. And this leads to, there's a lot of capacity building that we have undertaken, giving the local communities capacity to be able to monitor both water quality and quantity.
It's extremely important, because you also don't want just to talk about enhancing water quantity, that you're providing adequate water to people. It needs to be not just adequate, but also clean water. And how would you be able to ensure that you're providing clean water? Is through monitoring.
The areas we are addressing is specifically on freshwater conservation, because we have realized that there has been much focus on water that comes outside the tap, but little attention is being given to the freshwater sources that is supplying water to Kenyans. And Kenya is also equally being affected by the impacts of climate change, and this is we are seeing this through the too much water we see at times, too little water we see, contamination of water, and also mismanagement of water. And this is happening because of lack of enough data to inform policy and also to inform decision making in terms of what interventions can we put in place to ensure that our freshwater sources are well conserved and protected. But I'm happy because, one, as a citizen scientist protagonist, I think making use of communities to collect this data on behalf of the government will really come a long way in addressing the data gap in terms of really ensuring we have data all across the freshwater sources of Kenya.
We use this data to identify how our liver, how healthy our liver is. And it is very important, because before we didn't know what healthy water is. Today we have come to know what healthy water is, because we use these components, and then we know how to intervene and then get clean water. So we have an intervention after measuring all these components. We get there is a problem somewhere. Today we know to get healthy water, It's water with a lot of oxygen. We know whenever your riverbanks are naked or without something, there is no vegetation cover. The dissolved oxygen reduces. So now we have to try and talk with our farmers to make sure that our riverbanks are well covered with napier or grasses. These grasses help us in two ways: reducing the turbidity and also reducing the high temperatures or the rays of the sun to correct our oxygen from the water and then taking it up. So our water will be very rich in oxygen, and also we shall reduce turbidity in that.
The other objective is around working closely with the relevant government agencies and even local communities, because this work you cannot do it alone. So there's need for collective action to ensure that everybody comes on board to tackle, in one way or the other, to tackle the challenges. We've worked closely with the authority to address both issues to do with compliance to abstraction and compliance to effluent discharge. So in regards to effluent discharge, so we support these institutions to understand what the law requires of them, and also to take up that responsibility, some sense of stewardship, to be able to manage the resource, because eventually we all need this resource beyond today and tomorrow. So if you don't take care of the resource right now, we might not be able to thrive in the maybe horticulture industry in many years to come. The other objective that I should mention is documentation and learning. It is really important that the good things that some of them are doing we are able to package this information in such a way that we can share it. So peer learning also creates an opportunity for people to learn from themselves, even internally, without necessarily relying on external people to come and teach them. If you see your neighbor is doing something good, it is easy for you to adopt such an approach, as opposed to someone else, an external partner, coming in to teach you on how to do it.
If you really want to talk about climate change, then you want to look at it through water lenses, whether it is drought, whether it's floods. That is when people begin appreciating what's currently going on, erratic rainfall patterns. That is the climate change, and that is what people can understand and relate with. Issues touching on water, as we have rightfully pointed out, requires that collective action. And that collective action means that those who are sourcing from the basins take responsibility, and those who are within the basin also take responsibility. Producers take responsibility, supply chains need to take responsibility, supporting each other. These are global challenges that may not necessarily be left for a country. We need to all come together, share lessons, building the capacity, complementing the government efforts, and for sure we'll be sourcing from a well-managed basins.
It's about protecting the water resources, not just for today, but for tomorrow.